as the parliamentary constituency would not be given farming inputs during the 2024-2025 farming season, and so this matter was inadmissible.
The other matter which was raised by Chairman North Member of Parliament, Mr. Yotam Tachalo, was on why the Food Reserve Agency delayed to pay farmers that sold maize to the agency in 2021. This matter was equally inadmissible.
The last matter did come from Chitambo, Member of Parliament, Mr. Remember Mutale. This was on whether the government would consider using a different mode of paying beneficiaries under the social cash transfer and cash for work programs following the poor mobile network being experienced in the country. And so this matter was equally inadmissible.
Later on, Madam First Deputy Speaker did permit the Minister of Health to render a ministerial statement, and this ministerial statement was on the country's preparedness to prevent an outbreak of Mpox, and briefed the House on the measures being taken to prevent, detect and respond to the disease. And we did see quite a number of members of Parliament seeking clarity from the Minister by posing follow-up questions.
After that ministerial statement, the House went on to consider questions for oral answer number 12 to 13 under Standing Order 80.
There was a resumption of the consideration of the motion of thanks, that the thanks of this Assembly be recorded for the exposition for public policy contained in the President's address. And the mover of this motion is Mr. Hudson Mabeta, who is Kankoyo Member of Parliament. It was seconded by the Ron Member of Parliament, Mr. Joel Chiwe. And so far we've seen quite interesting debates from various members of Parliament debating the President's address, which was delivered last week on Friday. So basically very interesting debates that are coming from members of Parliament. Matimba.
Yes, President, indeed, and there being no further debate, the debate on the motion stood adjourned, and so the House did adjourn accordingly at 17:26 hours, and so this is business that was considered on the floor of the House yesterday, Thursday, 19th September 2024. Just now, we go on a break. When we come back, we'll be looking at business that is expected to be considered on the floor of the House today.
You can now advertise on Parliament Television and Parliament Radio.
Well, there you have it. That's Madam First Deputy Speaker making her way to the chamber. We do have the motion and our honor the Vice President's question time. So keep watching
Honorable
Parliament.
members of Parliament, Madam Speaker. Yeah.
And sing of Zambia, proud and free, land of wealth and joy in unity, victors in the struggle for our right. We want freedom's fight for one, strong and free. Africa is our own motherland, fashioned with and blessed by those who bless. Let us all our people join as one, brothers under the sun, oh one, strong and free. One land and one nation is our cry, dignity and peace is Let's celebrate Zambia, Zambia, Zambia. Remain we stand under the flag of our land. Zambia, praise to thee, O one, strong and free.
Prayer. Almighty God, who in your infinite wisdom and providential goodness has appointed the offices of leaders and parliaments for the welfare of society and the just government of the people, we beseech you to consider with your abundant favor us, your servants, whom you've been pleased to call to the performance of such important responsibilities in this land. Let your blessings descend upon us here in Parliament assembled, and grant that we may, as in your presence, treat and consider all matters that shall come under our deliberation in so just and faithful a manner as to promote your honor and glory, and to advance the peace, prosperity, and welfare of our country and of those whose interests you have committed to our charge. Amen. Honorable members, I have two announcements to make. The first announcement, honorable members, I wish to recognize the presence in the public gallery of pupils and teachers from Roy Joe Christian School in Lusaka District. On behalf of the National Assembly of Zambia, I warmly welcome our visitors in our midst. Thank you. You may be seated. The second announcement, honorable members, I wish to inform the House that Vision Care Eye Hospital has been granted permission to conduct a free, comprehensive eye screening exercise for members of Parliament and staff. The exercise aims at promoting eye health care through early detection and treatment of common eye ailments. The exercise will be conducted from Monday 23rd to Friday 27th September 2024 as follows. On Monday 23rd to Thursday 26th September 2024 from 9 hours to 16 hours, and on Friday 27th September 2024 from 9 hours to 13 hours. Interested honorable members are therefore encouraged to find time to participate in this exercise. I thank you. We now move to urgent matters without notice. I see none. Her Honor, the Vice President's question time. Order, honorable members. ICT, can we move to at the same level? You are supposed to display the words just when the names when I just finish. Her Honor, the Vice President's question time. The Honorable Member for Kantanshi.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Your Honor, the Vice President, the people of Kantanshi are concerned. They have noticed that government does come up with very good policies, announcements, pronouncements, but these things are not happening on the ground where the people are, who are actually our voters. And I'll give you examples. Number one, for example, the issue of solar products, which government announced that prices will be low because duties and taxes will be removed. That hasn't happened. The prices are still high of solar products. For people to find their way into surviving in this load shedding problem that we are facing as a country. Number two, there have been concerns, for example, on social cash transfer, which again your government is doing well. People are getting as much as 800, in some cases 1,200. There's been concerns that mobile service providers like MTN.
The Honorable Member for Kantanshi, please summarize your question because we've got a lot of members on the list.
I'll just give that as a second example because this is what is on the ground. MTN, for example, has not been paying these monies on time. Sometimes it takes 2 weeks, 3 weeks. And when government is making the second payment or the third payment, that's when they're getting the first payment. These concerns have been brought to your attention as government. Why has it taken so long for you to respond to them when they are actually part of your own policies? Thank you.
Her Honor, the Vice President.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and I would like to thank the Honorable Member for Kantanshi, who starts by acknowledging that there are indeed good policies and announcements, but his concern, and he says the concern of the people of Kantanshi, is that these are not trickling down, the good policies and the good announcements are not reaching the people. And he particularly comes in to thank government for the social cash transfer. But the real concern is that the mobile service providers, particularly for mobile money providers, are taking too long. I think I hear you. It is important that we engage, and we will engage through the Minister of Technology to know exactly what is happening. I can't give you the answers because I thought these mobile money transfers are instant. That is what I know from where I'm standing. But if there is a matter that is to do with the length of time that this social cash transfer is taken to the people, then it is an issue, Madam, that we need to look at with the MTN in particular to see what is happening. We are aware, Madam, that we may have challenges where the network is a problem that we have heard. In fact, we have heard, Madam, people saying, why don't you use cash as a means of payment using different points? You will remember that has its own challenges. I think we started from there, but there are challenges to that. But the issue of people who have mobile money accessing the social cash transfer, Madam, sometimes we also get all sorts of complaints that sometimes it's difficult to really know how to proceed. Because some of them, the distances are so far from where they have to access. And then they will send their grandchildren, who also go and sometimes gong at them. They tell them, no, it is only this which came. It is only 400, and the poor people don't know what to do. So we are indeed in a place where we have to continuously look at what is happening, and we will look at that. We will engage the MTN. Thank you.
The Honorable Member from Mukaika.
Thank you so much, Madam Speaker. Your Honor, the Vice President, the ZN's Mirimi has disappeared. Although people used to queue for it, this time, at least it was affordable. People used to afford. But this time around, the Mirimi is no longer in ShopRite. The Mirimi is no longer in Katete, in Mukaika, Madam Vice President. Has the ZNS stopped producing this meal, or there is no maize in the country? Thank you so much, Madam Speaker.
Her Honor, the Vice President.
Sorry, your members sometimes. Thank you, Madam Speaker. And I'd like to thank the Honourable Member from Kaika for that. From what I know, and you did see the Minister, speaking to me, from what I know is, in fact, they have even decentralized. The issue of ZNS meal disappearing in Mkaika is something that can be looked at. If it was there, what has happened? Otherwise, ZNS is still milling. Who is asking?
Order, Honourable Members.
Is it in Akonde? It is that one.
Order. You are done, Your Honor. You may continue.
I'm not done. Let me finish.
Okay.
ZNS is still milling and going to the centers. Remember that here you were saying you can't put only these shops. It is important that other shops also participate. And this is exactly how ZNS has moved forward. They have actually decentralized. Even some shops are accredited to ZNS, and they are able to also sell. So if there is something like that, it is just that the demand is so high from the people. But let me use this opportunity, Honorable Shiwangando, to say honorable members, the issue is maize is available in many places, including where there is drought. And we continue to encourage people to reduce on the cost of milling. Purchase maize. Yeah. Purchase maize. It is cheaper, particularly where we are selling it at community sales price. People will get it at 300, is it 350? 330. And when you mill that, you get 48 kg. So let us encourage our people, honorable members, to use maize. And they can mill it through hammer mills, including solar hammer mills, including diesel hammer mills, but they'll get more value from using maize. But ZNS, as the question was, honorable member from Kaika, has not disappeared. It is being milled. Thank you.
The honorable member for Lundazi.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for giving a chance to the people of Lundazi to ask Her Honor, the Vice President, a question. Her Honor, the Vice President, this morning, there's a screaming headline in the Daily Nation: judiciary lacks autonomy, and it is at the mercy of the executive. Her Honor, the Vice President, of late we have seen that the judiciary is only quick to act on cases which are involving the opposition, and they are very much active in dealing with matters which are involving the family of the former head of state. His Excellency Edgar Chagwa Lungu, the former president of the Republic of Zambia. Her Honor, the Vice President, I want you to clarify the perception which is out there using this fora, that you as the executive and the UPND party in particular are not holding the executive to a ransom, that they should only disfavor those who are in opposition. I submit, Her Honor the Vice President.
Her Honor the Vice President.
We are not like here for you to do that.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and I would like to thank the Honourable Member for Lundazi for that extremely important question, because it should give us an opportunity to explain ourselves here where we are. You read a statement, I think somewhere that's what you said, except that the statement has not been laid on the table, where you say the statement lacks autonomy and is at the mercy. That is a perception. That is a perception. Here, we all know that we believe of separation of powers. Even in the Constitution, this is what I know. If you know better, don't ask. Explain. This is what I know. Let me explain what I know. Sir.
Can
Yes,
we give
Madam.
chance to Her Honor the Vice President to respond?
There is that perception, but you have to know that by Constitution there is separation of powers. And the point is we should be able, as the three institutions of government, three wings of government, provide checks and balances. This is exactly what it is. So when you see a statement and probably you don't read the whole thing, you start thinking there is something wrong about what is happening between the executive and the judiciary. The appointment of judges is a provision in the law. There is nothing, because this allegation comes from the fact that because they are appointed by the president. This is the way it has been, right from independence. Council Temple from Favor. This is the way it has been. The separation of powers is there. The judges don't work under anybody's direction. If it was happening before, even those who may say, question, they may have did it wickedly. They may have did it wickedly. Because this is not something you can allege and prove. Counsel Chisanga, you can't allege and prove. I am looking at counsels because when people are asking, you the lawyers should be able to come out. Yes, the appointment, if you are not happy, you are not happy with this executive. You may not be happy with the law. But don't allege that we are doing anything wrong. No. And when you give an example, Honorable Member for Lundazi, of the fact that there is pursuing of the opposition, particularly the former head of state, simply take us to court also. Simply go to court and say, we have seen this one is also corrupt. Give evidence. You can't start making that comparison without evidence that others who are committing crimes are not being, brought to book. That is another matter. But for the law and for the interaction between the judiciary and the executive is provided for by the Constitution. Nobody is interfering. That is an allegation. No one is interfering in the operations. And the judiciary does not take people to court. It is people who investigate and take people to court. The judiciary decides. Now you are saying they are delaying some matters and the others are fast track. Remember, the courts have been now created, different courts, justice is here, to fast track cases so that the cases are quickly disposed of, so that people don't remain hanging all the time without knowing their fate. If they are guilty, found guilty. If they are not, they are, declared acquitted. Indeed, that is now the justice knows the words. Acquitted. So this is what is only that. There are cases. If you say against the former president, or his family. Those are cases. Just go and defend in the courts of law and say this is wrong. You are arresting people. This person had this resource and it came from here. Finish. They'll be acquitted.
The Honorable Member for Sinazongwe.
Thank you so much, Madam Speaker, for this rare opportunity. I honor the Vice President. Of late, we have witnessed or heard a lot of properties by the courts of law, meaning those properties are the ones which are perceived to have been dubiously acquired. Now that the courts of law, Madam Speaker, have taken a decision, I would like to hear from Her Honor the Vice President, looking at the drought that we have or we are experiencing. Is it not possible, Madam Speaker, to expedite the disposition of these properties so that the resources can be used to fight the hunger situation, to construct student accommodation, and many more? Is it not possible, Madam Speaker, to expedite the disposition of these properties? I submit.
Her Honor the Vice President.
Thank you very much. The forfeiture of proceeds of a crime, that's what you are referring to. Thank you very much. Yes, indeed, we have heard of these seizing of property that may have been wrongly acquired, Madam. Now, the question the Honorable puts up, the Honorable Member for Sinazongwe, is that we should expedite the disposal of this property. I think it is controlled by law, and those who know, definitely, when time comes, they dispose of that. And when they dispose of that, then the money goes into the treasury. At whichever time the money goes into the treasury. But to expedite, I don't know. I would have to ask the people that are responsible to know exactly how long it takes for a forfeited, property for it to be disposed of. But disposing of properties that have been forfeited to the state are definitely part of the process. It will be disposed of when matters are over. Thank you.
The Honorable Member for Skongo.
Thank you so much, Madam Speaker, for the opportunity. Allow me, before I ask my question, Madam Speaker, to congratulate the UPND government for winning all the by-elections. The trend continues, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, in 2019, this country was faced with the severe drought, and the response then from the PF government was to feed our people gaga, or better still, animal feed. Now, my question to Her Honor the Vice President is, what motivated your administration through the able leadership to come up with such a well-designed, well-coordinated, well-measured drought response plan, to the extent that today our people are not starving, our people are happy? Thank you so much, Madam Speaker.
Her Honor the Vice President.
Thank you very much. My question, yeah? Yeah, really, sometimes you want people to acknowledge the good work that government is doing. And thank you, Honorable Member for Congo, and also for congratulating us for winning the by-elections. That is how the congratulation came. It is unfortunate for any government, as alleged by the Honorable Member, to feed its own people on wrong food. That is very bad. If this truly happened, that people were fed on gaga, that is unacceptable. But then what motivated us? It is what motivates us What motivated us to fight so hard until we took power? What motivated us is to serve the people better, to serve our own Zambians better. This is what motivated us, colleagues, honorable members, to have a very well-designed response to the drought. I will not go through this because after this I have a statement to issue. Maybe other questions can be asked if there is need. But I know that the statement I will issue will be very clear. There will be no questions. I will be speaking to the response. It is the love, Honorable Member for Congo, that we have for our people, that the President and his entire government, cabinet, has said we should not leave anybody to die from hunger. That's why many interventions have been put in place. Because we love the Zambian people. We are servants of the people. We are not bosses. If others are bosses, not this government. We are servants of the people. That's why we are doing the right thing.
The Honorable Member for Katombola.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker, for the opportunity for the people of Katombola constituency to ask a question to the Vice President. Madam Vice President, we woke up this morning in the Republic of Zambia, indicating that all the by-elections have been won by the UPND. Madam Vice President, the people of Katombola constituency are asking, in terms of the policies of the New Dawn, what does this mean? I thank you, Madam Vice President.
I honor the Vice President.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and I would like to thank the Honorable Member for Katombola, who wants to know, yes, that we won all the by-elections that were held yesterday. And he's wondering, what is this? How are the Zambian people thinking and feeling? Very good question. That means the Zambian people are happy with the policies of this government. And they appreciate, Madam, in their appreciation is to vote for UPND candidates everywhere, because they know that they will be connected to the right government. They have no time to start, looking at... They have no time. They have no time to start hunting when they have found the right thing. The right thing. It is because UPND government is doing the right thing for the people of Zambia. They will continue to vote for UPND.
The Honorable Member for Shangombo.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, Zambia is a Christian nation. When the righteous are in authority, the majority rejoice. The president is an elder, the vice president is a bishop. What word do you have to some of our citizens who are today are forming UKA, the following day UKWA, they are busy expelling themselves, failing even to meet the citizen to campaign? What, as a Christian, what word do you have to them so that they can come back and support this government which has no segregation, as seen from what programs are happening either in CDF, where all the constituencies are being funded irrespective of political affiliation? I thank you, Madam Speaker.
I honor the Vice President. The Honorable Member, you can switch off the time. Sorry, Your Honor, the Vice President. The Honorable Member for Nakonde, I'm sure you know our standing orders. Why are you bringing that symbol in the House? Please avoid bringing symbols or any political slogans in the House. The Honorable Member for Nakonda, I think I'm talking to you. Avoid bringing slogans, political slogans in the House, including the symbols. Her Honor, the Vice President, you may continue.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and I'd like to thank the Honorable Member for Shangomo, who says we are a Christian nation, and thank you. I'm not ashamed indeed to be called a Christian myself. Thank you for acknowledging that I am a Christian, number one, before the rest. And the Honorable Member says there are many good programs that we are doing, but there is opposition called either UKA or UKWA. Yeah. I am sure nobody in this house is UKA or UKWA. Madam, you don't have such in here. But the opposition is supposed to support the government. This is a very serious point. I'll say this. In our multi-party situation, dispensation indeed, opposition is opposition but must support the progressive government like this one. Let us understand support. Support is not just saying yes. It can also be saying no in a constructive manner. This is what this government expects from an organized opposition. But those that opposition where they are, you said they expel each other, they are too busy to provide us with the right checks and balances so that we can work together for the good of the people. They are too involved between themselves. That is not Christian. Involved among themselves, so that the only thing they see is their own fights and they see government as an enemy. No, let us work together for the good of our people. This House, members of Parliament, must always support that which is good for their people. Even if you are in opposition, you want to take over. You don't want to take over a finished country. Look at how we are struggling from the finished areas of our governance. You should support us so that one day, when you win after 50 years, you will find a strong government. You will find a strong country with a good economy, with a people responsible. That's what you want. After 50 years, you will have done a good job and leave it good for the opposition. Thank you, Madam.
The Honorable Member for Mukushi South.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Your Honor, the Vice President, the President, in his statement of fighting corruption, he came and talked about a motor vehicle, which is not even in this speech. And we have failed to collect the $13.5 million which is in the thick report. Up to today, UPND has failed to arrest even those that are involved in the $13.5 million, 13.5 billion, which is in the thick report. And none of them has been arrested. What do you think that, what makes you think that the people of Zambia can trust you and that they will not kick you out of power in 2026? I submit, Madam Speaker.
Her Honor, the Vice President.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and I thank you, the Honourable Member for Mokoshi, for that question, except the preamble was difficult for me to follow because he said the President spoke about the fight against corruption, and then he spoke about motor vehicles, and in the end, it's FIC report. It has been a little difficult for me to follow what the Honourable Member is trying to say. But the issue of the FIC report, which he talks about, the issue of the FIC report and the 13.5 million, and that there have been no arrests. I think we dealt with this in the last sitting. We talked about that, and we will continue, all of us as Zambians, to look to the investigative wing to bring this to conclusion. Because this is what we said, that for us we can't decide who to arrest and who not to. So yes, you are bringing it to the fore, you are speaking to the Zambian people, the investigative wings are listening. But to just go on, what is the title of the FIC report? Suspicious. On suspicion, Honourable Council Munduvile, not on suspicion. Let them investigate and bring those people to book. Mulandu Taubola. I am saying this sincerely. Okay. In law, what do you say? Yes. Yeah. Criminality is not bad. It's not time bad. Mpundu, criminality is not time bad. Yeah, ask the council. It is not bound by time. So, take your time. If there is truly the suspicion, it's not just the suspicion. It's not just the suspicious. A day of reckoning will come. Don't worry. Some people thought they will never appear. But they appear. No, they are appearing. It is Zambia.
The Honourable Member for Kwacha.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for the opportunity given to ask Honour the Vice President a question. Your Honour the Vice President, good morning. I would like you to make a comment and clarify serious reports trading on social media and other media platforms where it is being alleged that because of various lacunas in the Constitution, the President wants to continue to hold into office for 8 years. This is very serious, and we need to put a stop to such misinformation. So I'd like you, Madam Speaker, Your Honor, to clarify and indicate exactly what the President stated in his address to Parliament. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Her Honor the Vice President.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and good morning, Honourable Member for Kwacha. And Madam, I appreciate this question. It is a matter of the Constitution. The interpretation of a Constitution is never one way. That's why these lawyers are in court arguing over one statement. This one says this, another one says this. But what did the President really mean? Any well-meaning Zambian will not interpret what the President's statement. Because when one makes a statement, there is a lot that you look at. You don't just hear words. You also look at the posture. You also look at the context in which something is made. Surely, from a statement made by the President, I thought people would appreciate. Whether he was right or wrong, they should appreciate the spirit with which he said it. Because he said this lacuna can make us do wrong things without saying the word wrong. That was the implication. The implication was, let us clean up. And remember, he was talking about the Constitution amendments. And he brought in this. If your friend comes and tells you that, you know, where you live here, this window is never fully locked. A thief can enter through this window to come and rob you. Then you say he wants to come and rob me. I hope I'm saying something. Then you say he wants to come and rob me. If he is the thief, can he warn you? No, then I don't understand where we are going. The president said, look, we need to look at this. There is chance that this constitution can be manipulated. Basically saying, let us not allow anybody, not him, anybody can come later and manipulate it. So let us ensure that we tie the knots where there are loose ends in the constitution. That was the purpose that he brought it here. If he meant to manipulate it, Honorable Member for Kwacha, he would not have said it. Because the people who made it didn't even see that there was anything wrong. And you blame him. If you say there is nothing wrong, just say, no, we are comfortable with the way it is. Until you find Article 52(4) may have no solution at the end of the day. Hey, I have master of law, guys. Thank you.
The Honorable Member for Chinsali.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I honor the Vice President. Most people in Chinsali, the farmers who have supplied maize to FRA, have not been paid their money. I would like to find out from you, when these people have supplied maize to FRA who have not been paid, when they are going to be paid. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
I honor the Vice President.
Thank you. I heard it yesterday too, and you guided, and it has come today again. I think on a matter like this, there is very little I can say but to acknowledge that this has happened. Some people have not been paid yet, but government is working hard to ensure that these people must be paid. I think there are other issues we will continue to talk about. But that is true. Government is working on ensuring that people are paid so that they can participate in the next farming season properly. Thank you.
The Honorable Member for Bwengwa.
Madam Speaker, thank you very much. Your Honor, the Vice President, I think it is very embarrassing in this era to see people playing victim of the offenses they committed. On the issue of the FIC report, Your Honor, the Vice President, it covers the period between 2014, the recent PIC report which came out. It covers a period between 2014 and 2022-2023. And 85% of illicit transactions in that FIC report, it was during the time of PF, the 13.5 billion. And let me borrow the word of the Honorable Finance Minister that we really need to enhance our education, and reading is very important. I think some people, the moment they just saw the block figure of 13.5 billion, they thought that it is only under the UPND government, forgetting that 85% was a transaction between 2014 and 2021. Now, Your Honor, the Vice President, what message do you have for the Zambian people so that they know the real culprits who were involved in that FIC report when they are going to be arrested? Because this is what the President has been talking about, that the past, present,
and future corruption must be dealt with. Your Honor, the Vice President, your take on this one. Thank you very much.
Her Honor, the Vice President.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and thank you, Honourable Member for Wengo, for raising that issue. I think for us, for now, that the report, FIC report, goes back to 2014 is something that I'll need to verify. I am sorry, because we have to give facts in this House. I am not saying the Honourable is not right. I am saying, listen, Madam.
Order, Honourable members, order.
Honourable members.
Order, Honourable
I am
members.
giving the answer. You listened to the question. So can we talk to each other? Definitely, we will clarify that. If this particular FIC report, because it's possible that cases take long to trace. But I am saying cases, it's possible, colleagues, unless you say you have read it 100%. So we will verify that, but standing here today, it will be difficult for me to say this is the position. I will have to quickly have a look and maybe come and satisfy the members that want to know what this FIC report is about. Thank you. Which time frame? Thank you.
The Honourable Member for Kabwe Central.
Thank you so much, Madam Speaker, for this opportunity to ask a question to Her Honour the Vice President. Her Honour the Vice President, good morning. Madam Speaker, we heard one of the senior members of WUCA saying that some councils are run by PF, and those councils were mentioned. Now, Madam Speaker, when I saw that video, it did not really bother me, but I'm bothered from what I heard this morning on Radio Millennium, when one of the mayor went on to say, even disputing government programs, he went to say Murungush textiles will never open. Then he went on to say that he doesn't want to buy to see graders from CDF. And we have seen a lot of destruction in Kabwe where vandalism is too much on CDF projects and the pushing for projects to be done. This now means that I'm getting worried that it maybe could be true what we heard from the social media, that certain councils are run by PF. Now, these institutions are very important in terms of development, because we know that UPND has enhanced decentralization and some institutions have developed their functions. So, I wonder the Vice President, what could be the advice to such institutions, that is very important institutions, that are delivering developmental projects to the people of Zambia, especially people of Kabwe? Thank you.
Her Honour the Vice President.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Thank you and good morning, Honourable Member for Kabwe Central. I think your question, you can hear the House. You can hear the House other than Mkushi South. The House has gone quiet because it is a painful statement. Because this cannot be spoken by any leader anywhere with an intention of frustrating programs of government. We are a democracy. Abraham Lincoln defined democracy. And therefore, if we are a true democracy, we are a government of the people, by the people and for the people. How can you be a leader and you want to frustrate something that works for the good of the people? Madam, I appreciate the attitude of this House towards that question, because I think it beat all of us. No leader in their right mind can frustrate the programs, the good programs of this. Any person saying this, I think we lose wisdom along the way. Anybody who says this is already alienating themselves from the people of Zambia. You are already decampaigning yourself, because nobody will trust you Nobody will. Nobody will. You can't. You can't even start vandalizing because you think people then will vote for you. No. All of us, political parties, particularly those in opposition, teach your people, tell them what people are looking for from you, not to destroy the country. We cannot allow. You cannot. Let us work together. Please, we have only one Zambia. Let us work together. It doesn't matter. The purpose, you are there. I used to say that in opposition personally. When they said, you wanted to take over government. I said, yes. That's why we are here. We will take over government from PF. The only thing we will not do is to do it illegally. So any opposition should see themselves as a government. And therefore, why do you start destroying what the government is doing? Come on. This should not be uttered from the mouth of a leader of our country. That is a very unfortunate statement, and such a person should repent, because it is not only bad, it is evil as well. Yeah. Thank you.
I have permitted Her Honor the Vice President to present a ministerial statement. Her Honor the Vice President. There's an indication for a point of order. What is your point of order?
Madam Speaker, thank you so much for the opportunity to raise this point of order, which ordinarily should have come as Honor the Vice President's 45 minutes of question and answer session was going on, but because of decorum, I had to hold myself until now. Madam Speaker, Standing Order number 71 is instructive when it comes to discourse standard on the floor of the House. Madam Speaker, a lot of serious matters have been tendered, but because I'm restricted to one, I have decided to rise on a point of order on the Honorable MP for Wengwa. Madam Speaker, FIC has issued reports, has continued to issue reports from the time PF was in office up to now. FIC, Madam Speaker, has released reports that relate to corruption or illicit financial flows in the UPND government. And I will give you specific reports, Madam. One, $2.8 billion has got nothing to do with MMD or PF, UPND alone. 61 billion kwacha has got nothing to do with MMD or PF, it's got everything to do with UPND alone. Madam Speaker, the last one is 13.5 billion kwacha. These monies have been externalized.
Order, honorable members.
Madam Speaker, my honorable colleague now mistakes the FIC report to that Auditor General's report, which was deliberately crafted by UPND government. Is it in order to come to this House to confuse FIC reports and illegal Auditor General's reports? I seek your serious ruling, Madam Speaker.
The Honorable Member for Lunte, when you are looking at a point of order, it clearly states that you have to be very specific. But I've noticed of late, when you bring a point of order, you start debating. You are not supposed to debate your point of order. it doesn't leave room for the presiding officer to come in because you've gone round and round and round your point of order. Is it possible, Honorable Member, that please, each time you raise a point of order, just try to be very specific and precise, to the point. Don't debate your point of order. Her Honor the Vice President. The ruling is that the Honorable Member for Lunte should not debate his point of order. It's not admissible. Your Honor the Vice President.
Madam Speaker, allow me to thank you for the opportunity to issue a ministerial statement on the mitigation measures the Disaster Management and Mitigation Unit has taken in response to the 2024 drought situation after it was declared a national disaster. Madam Speaker, I wish to report to this august House that government, through the Disaster Management and Mitigation Unit, coordinated the development of the 2024 Food Security Drought Response Plan following the declaration of the drought as a national disaster and the emergence by the Republican President Dr. Hakainde Hichilema on the 29th of February 2024. This response plan was developed by a multi-sectoral team of experts drawn from state and non-state actors who are organized in 6 clusters for a coordinated response. In these clusters, the core interventions targeted at mitigating the drought's effects are outlined, and this will run until the next harvest in 2025. Madam Speaker, to update the House, allow me therefore to highlight the core interventions being implemented under each of the 6 response pillars in the 84 drought-affected districts. Pillar 1, provision of immediate food assistance, provision of immediate food assistance. Under this pillar, the government is implementing interventions targeted at providing immediate life-saving and livelihood protection interventions in all the 84 drought-affected districts. In this regard, government has released 41,485 metric tons of maize to drought-affected communities in the 84 districts across the country, of which, as at 17 September 2024, a total of 35,639.01 metric tons has been distributed, with 829,000 households benefiting from the intervention. The government is also providing social cash transfers, which is a program aimed at reducing extreme poverty and the intergenerational transfer of poverty among beneficiary households. In the drought emergence period, this program has been expanded to include all households that have been negatively affected by the impacts of the drought outside the normal social cash transfer programs. In addition, the Drought Emergence Cash Transfer Program is also being implemented to bolster the overall social protection intervention aimed at protecting the already vulnerable and preventing others from falling into the vulnerability bracket. As at 31st August 2024, 886,311 beneficiaries had been paid, with the total amount of disbursed of at 1.8 billion Zambian kwacha. To facilitate availability of food in the affected communities, community maize sales have also been heightened. In this regard, 493 community sales points are currently active in the targeted districts. A total of 130,375 metric tons of maize has been sold through these points as at 17th September 2024. This maize has benefited 2,607,500 households. Further, to stabilize market prices for and the availability of mealie meal, government through the Zambia National Service has released 399,800 metric tons of maize from the strategic grain reserves for milling. Of this tonnage, 347,666.02 metric tons has been milled and bagged into 11,125,318 by 25 kilograms bags of millie meal for sale. Similarly, the Zambia Correctional Service has also drawn 84,105.41 metric tons of maize from the strategic grain reserves for the same purpose. Of this quantity, 77,626.45 metric tons has been milled and bagged into 2,209,508 by 25 kilogram bags of millie meal for sale in communities. Madam Speaker, to cover the domestic maize production gap, the government signed a government-to-government contract with the United Republic of Tanzania to import 650,000 metric tons of non-GMO white maize. The imported maize from Tanzania is currently flowing into the country. In addition, the Food Reserve Agency has enhanced its operations and by 18th September 2024 had recorded 580,594 metric tons of total maize purchase receipts. Madam Speaker, the government has also just initiated a Cash for Work program in the 84 drought-affected districts. In this program, communities are undertaking labor-intensive works such as drainage clearance, molding of bricks, and roadworks. A total of 2 billion Zambian kwacha has been reserved for this program. Works have since commenced and payments to beneficiaries will be made once the works are completed and certified with a specified time frame which should not exceed a period of 10 days in a given month. Nutrition. Under this pillar, interventions under implementation involve the scanning for and treatment of severe and moderate cases of acute malnutrition among children, lactating and pregnant mothers across the 84 drought-affected districts. To date, 4,116,901 children have been screened for severe and moderate acute malnutrition. Of this number, 25,865 children have been treated for both cases of malnutrition. Treatment and prevention of malnutrition involves the provision of micronutrients and protein supplements to children, pregnant and lactating mothers. Education. Under this pillar, the school feeding program has been enhanced and is now covering all drought-affected districts with an addition of 2,394,208 pupils being provided with meals and safe drinking water. Yes, and drinking water. The 36 districts that were not on the program have also been included in the school feeding program before the drought. This is being implemented across the 8 provinces, excluding Northern and Luapula, for a period of 180 days. The meals are being provided to pupils considered to be in early childhood education, 143,727 primary school 1,704,604, and secondary school 545,977 pupils. In health, under this pillar, government has heightened vaccinations against cholera, measles, and polio. So far, a total of 227,500 persons have been vaccinated against cholera with 4 years efficacy, while 2,268,249 children have been vaccinated against polio, which requires a total of 3 doses at 1 month interval. There is also heightened disease surveillance in the affected districts while water quality is being monitored. Given the psychological impacts of the drought in the people, there is also heightened provision of mental health services. Energy. I wish to report that the country's power deficit now stands at 1,381 megawatts of electricity. To mitigate this in the short term, the government is importing 450 megawatts of electricity from South African power pool to support commercial activities and facilitating the greening of 1,000 solar heaters. Government is also installing 23 diesel generators producing 12.2 megawatts of electricity in strategic institutions such as markets and water utilities. Further, a solar loan scheme has been introduced through the Public Service Microfinance Company to enhance civil servants to access solar and other products affordably. Early recovery and resilience building. Under this pillar, the focus is on building community resilience to shocks such as the drought we are responding to, and the facilitation of recovery of the communities affected by the drought. The target sectors and their interventions under this pillar are as follows: water resource management and development. Under this sector, the measures put in place include drilling of boreholes, enhancement of water permitting measures, and the construction and maintenance of dams in the drought-affected districts to support agriculture, human, livestock, and animal use. In the drought response plan, 770 dams are earmarked for rehabilitation so far. For rehabilitation so far, 90 dams are being maintained in 2024 with progress at 87%. In addition, 6 small dams are currently under rehabilitation. The government is also currently constructing 16 out of a target of 28 dams, small dams in the drought-affected districts, and progress for these ranges from 5 to 80%. I also wish to report that 270 of the 500 non-functional boreholes are currently under rehabilitation. We have also initiated the installation of 424 out of 1,500 target pipe water schemes. Water permitting has been enhanced by the Water Resource Management Authority, WAMA. This is the issuance of ground and surface water extraction permits. Since the declaration, a total of 310 water permits have been issued out of the 312 applications that have been received after the declaration. Livestock and wildlife. Under this sector, there has been baling of hay to supplement livestock feeding and increase the livestock and animal vaccination against diseases such as anthrax, contagious bovine pleural pneumonia, and rabies. As of 17 September 2024, a total of 744,350 animals have been vaccinated against anthrax, 437,051 against foot and mouth disease, 43,175 against contagious bovine pleural pneumonia, and 8,000 and 95 dogs have been vaccinated against rabies. This has been undertaken in southern, western, northwestern, northern, Copper Belt, and Muchinga provinces. Agricultural production. Under this sector, farmers have been encouraged to plant early maturing maize varieties as well as winter maize production. The government, through the Republican President, His Excellency Dr. Hakainde Hichilema, on March 24th, 2024, commissioned the harvest of winter maize of Sadot Farm in Mkush Farm Block and flagged off the winter maize planting season as a way of beefing up the country's strategic reserves. Mobile grain dryers have also been purchased to facilitate drying of the winter maize. Risky communication and community engagement. Under this pillar, there has been heightened community awareness campaigns related to the 6 core pillars under the drought response plan. These include 1, the airing of 3-minute drought response updates on ZNBC News at 19 hours every day. 2, sensitization of communities in rangeland protection. 3, operation of a 24-hour and 7-day week National Emergency Operations Center at DMMU to respond to drought-related inquiries from members of the public and to collect vital information related to the response by all actors involved. Madam Speaker, in summary, the above measures are targeted at mitigating the adverse impacts of the experienced drought in the 4 districts across the country. Madam Speaker, allow me to reiterate that the above measures are still ongoing and updates will be given as measures continue being implemented in all the 84 drought-affected districts across the country. Honorable members may remember that when we were rising from the last meeting, we had a meeting with members of Parliament where we gave a detailed response plans. In fact, the Minister of Agriculture and myself are waiting for feedback from what was happening in the constituencies when they were on recess from the work of Parliament. Madam Speaker, I thank you.
Thank you. Honorable members are now free to ask questions on points of clarification on the ministerial statement given by Her Honor the Vice President. The Honorable Member for Wacha.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker, for the opportunity. It's here, I honor the Vice President. Thank you very much, Madam. Information Ministerial statement. Madam Speaker, I think in my view and the opinion, declaring the 2023 and 2024 a national disaster, in my view and opinion, like I've indicated, is a step in the right direction. Madam Vice President, communities are facing 21 hours of load shedding. And in some cases, some communities, Madam Vice President, they are going for days without electricity. Even where we are staying, some of us as members of Parliament, it's a struggle in the morning or maybe in the afternoon just to find water to bath. Why is a government, through you, Madam Speaker, to honor the Vice President, not declaring the shortage of electricity a national emergency? Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Not a national disaster, but a national emergency. Thank you very much, Madam Speaker.
Okay. Her Honor, the Vice President.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and thank you, Honorable Member for Wacha. How are you? I think the Honorable Member appreciates what government is doing the drought, emergency and disaster. I think we should understand this in full context. I'm taking advantage of this to explain a little more. This disaster, when it is drought, it is not only food. That's why I gave 6 pillars. The emergency, the disaster is also in energy. In my report, Honorable, I talked about energy as one pillar. So it is part of the drought emergency. Because mostly in our country, we have relied on hydro power generation. And therefore, when you have a drought, it goes without saying that the electricity generation will be affected. So, in general, I can say this is part of the response plan. That's why in my statements, I even talked of the shortage of the electricity that we have. And measures that we are doing, including importing. Remember, I talked of importing 450 megawatts from South Africa for commercial activities, buying of diesel, producing power to the tune of 12.2 megawatts. So, indeed, this is also part of the disaster. I would say, in case somebody is thinking of water, it is also incorporated in the plan. Because if there is drought, there is no water. No water, there is no electricity. This is the annexes that you have in this matter, what the drought brings. Without water, no electricity. So we are turning. Under this, I talked of the microfin, government public service microfin finance company being given the mandate to support civil and public servants to access loans so that they can get electricity for their homes, home consumption. So all these are part of the mitigating measures answering to the issue of energy. Allow me, Madam, energy, I've said it comes from water. And some of the areas particularly affected, colleagues, we are leaders. I know that we have CDF. I know that we had plans. But surely, if your people are going to die because they don't have water, then you have failed leadership. If there are areas where they need water, you better reprioritize. Because I hear in some places, people are moving, the shallow wells are dry. People are moving long distances. And you are saying, I will keep this money to buy what? Can you reschedule? Minister of Local Government, let them ensure that there is water. Water is life. Even if we take maize there, people will still die. Sorry, what? I'm taking advantage of your question because it's important. So, honorable members, please, can you quickly ensure that you support this program? Where the Ministry of Water is doing boreholes, they may be too slow. Use the CDF and ensure people have water. So we are looking at everything comprehensively, Honorable. Thank you.
Thank you. The Honorable Member for Sinazongwe.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Honor the Vice President. I'm not politicking, Madam Speaker. Truth be told, we thank you. On behalf of the people of Sinazongwe, Madam Speaker, people would have died. But the government has come in through cash for work. Red Cross is also there. there is enhanced cash transfer, emergency relief. Madam Speaker, we would like to thank His Excellency the President. Let me say the entire UPND. We are really grateful. Madam Speaker, there are only 2 wards out of 16 where we have tried by all means to provide water to our people. We've gone, I remember I had even asked a question some time back. We've gone as deep as 150 meters. We are not finding any water. We have plans to say maybe under CDF 2025, we shall have some weir dams so that at least we start having water harvest. But this period, Madam Speaker, is quite hard for my people to access water. The closest is Lake Kariba, which is about 30 kilometers. Her Honor the Vice President, what immediate assistance can my people get from this caring government? I submit, Madam Speaker.
Her Honor the Vice President.
Thank you very much, and Madam Speaker, and I really appreciate the honorable member for
Sinazongwe.
For appreciating again. It's very important that as you speak to what is difficult or where government has gaps, you also appreciate. I think you have seen interventions that I didn't put in here. There is intervention from cooperating partners. The Red Cross is out there. Where is Makushi? Makushi South is out of here. He has to know that in Luano, there is very serious intervention by WFP. In about 15 districts, WFP is there to provide intervention, a full package of intervention. Yeah, in Luano, WFP is there. I'm sure you are aware. We are working together with government. But we have not left them alone because we are doing all these statistics to know how many people are there. How does government come in to fill the gap where there is a gap? Except this particular question from the honorable member of water not being found as low as 150 meters down. And the other source of water is 30 kilometers. That one, madam. That one is very happy. WFP is in Luano doing a good job. And the government is also there. This is how we interact with the partners. But when you talk of 150, really, I become too small to respond to that. But 30 meters, then we have to find water. Between that place and the 30 kilometers, are there villages? Or do they all have no water? That is a discussion that can be done with technical people. And please come to our offices, particularly reach out to the Ministry of Water Development, because we can't leave people without water. Please, I direct you to the Minister of Water, because the solution must be found. If we are going to lift people from flooded areas, the honorables, start now. You heard the President say, lift them, disaster to do with weather pattern. Let us talk to our people, engage them. But thank you for appreciating, and we will continue to find solutions to difficult situations. Thank you.
There is an indication for a point of order. The honorable member for Mukushi South.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, relevance of speech and facts. I'm coming from the valley 4 days ago. The people there are suffering. There is no food. There is no maize, which the Honorable Vice President is talking about. the maize is being given to UPND cadres? Yes. Yes, you are questioning. You are questioning. The maize is being given to UPND cadres, and they are the ones who are having the maize right now. WFP can be there, but if there is no maize, what relevance? Madam Speaker, is the Honourable Vice President in order to mislead the nation and the people of Luano in particular that food is in Luano and yet people are suffering? They have no food. I seek your serious ruling, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. From what I heard, I think the Honorable, Her Honor the Vice President was giving an example on water, that there are already some cooperating partners that are helping us in some districts or constituencies. And she mentioned one NGO, that is Luano, that there is a cooperating partner who is trying to assist the people. That was a matter with water, not food. So the Honorable Member for Mukushi South, this is an opportunity for you to ask Her Honor the Vice President on issues of food so that you can be given a response for your people in Luano, in Mukushi South. So make use of the opportunity. The question is still on the floor of the House. The ministerial statement, the questions are still on the floor of the House. So, Honorable Member, I think yourself you are out of order because you didn't come up with the correct information that was mentioned by Her Honor the Vice President. Use this opportunity. There is a problem in Mukushi South. Bring it to Her Honor the Vice President so that she gives you a good response. We make progress. The Honorable Member from Sanzala.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Thank you, Her Honor the Vice President. We appreciate the relief that you are giving to our people, and our people are still asking you that the maize that we are giving us is better you increase, because you increase on the numbers. The quantities are not sufficient due to the same hunger that we have just alluded to. The other point, Madam Speaker, that I wanted to bring to the attention of Her Honor the Vice President is that the cash transfer that we are giving, it is really making an impact on our people. But the challenges that are there is that where they are getting the money from and where they are going to buy the food from, there are some distances. The people are asking if it's in your powers that you can give maize in each and every polling station so that our people can have easy access to buy that particular maize from that polling station. Then the distances that they cover, it is just too vast. I submit, Madam Speaker.
Her Honor the Vice President.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker, and I would like to thank the Honourable Member from Zanzala. What I love is that people are noticing efforts are being made. Efforts are being made, and that is very important for us because it is encouraging that we are doing something. You are in a drought situation, in a very difficult situation. Remember, we had to start reversing maize, Honourable. Maize had been collected, but we have had to reverse it to the selling point because people could not access going to the central purchasing point or collecting point in the district. So the best we have done, we realize the distance, but sometimes we also must contribute. As government is contributing by taking maize back to where they bought it. I think that the farmers, our people who need the food, can walk a little distance. It will be very difficult for me to commit sitting here that will have the resources to take to every polling station. At least we have endeavored to see that every ward, at least if you have a ward where there is no selling point, please, you can come through. But that is how far we have gone. That within, I know there are vast words that we appreciate, but it's just that there are limitations to what we can do. We wish we can do better, but for now, the resources available must ensure that there is a selling point in every ward. That is how far we have gone. Let us just encourage our people to cultivate. The rains are said to come early, so that at least by March, we will have something to chew. Sorry about that, but this is the plan. Thank you.
The Honourable Member for Skongo.
Thank you so much, Madam Speaker. And thank you, Vice President, for your ministerial statement. Indeed, the drought that has hit us is something that is unfortunate, and we didn't plan for it. But however, I would like to thank government for the marked response that you have shown in making sure that our people do not die from hunger. In Skongo, Madam Speaker, our road has been damaged as now, and the trucks cannot take milling or maize to Sikongo. We are getting our maize from Karabo. So I only hope RDA, as we discussed, can quickly patch up the parts that are bad so that the people of Sikongo can continue getting their maize in Sikongo. Now, my question is, Madam Vice President, this devastating drought that we've had has been something that I think we haven't seen in a long time. So the question is, what key lessons have we learned from this drought so that moving forward we should be able to not necessarily go through the same response that we have, so that maybe where we are able to put in certain measures, we are able to do that? I think that's the question that I have for you. Thank you so much.
Her Honor the Vice President.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Indeed, this is one of the first on some of our lives, short lives, that we have seen a drought devastating as this. If you haven't gone to where the drought has really hit, you think it's what you have seen before. But this year has been devastating, where almost all crop just gone. Therefore, any government that has a foresight, which every government should have, must plan for the future. Now, we shouldn't just be planning for the drought, we also plan for floods. It is possible. You have seen what is happening in the world. Honourable Member for Skongo, thank you that you have given part of the response, because we need the roads to transport, and you have already reached out to RDA. Very important. But it is, what key response measures have we put in place for the future? This is why I read where, in fact, I would call it pillar number 6, on early recovery and resilience building. When it comes to water, for example, I read about dams and all those things. We have to start damming our water. It is one of the measures that we are putting in place to build resilience. We are looking at power. That is part of the resilience. So basically there are many. I read a number of dams, for example, 770 earmarked. These are dams. 90 are being maintained and so on. The dams are not a short term. They are long term. So we are working together. We have to increase agricultural production to ensure that there are other measures the Minister will speak to later on what we are doing to ensure that people can cultivate. So really, we are looking forward. But when you have a proposal, you know the ministers. You know if it's agriculture, you go to agriculture. If it is water, you go to water, energy, you go to energy. even to disaster. Come, bring. For us, we have never claimed monopoly of knowledge and wisdom. We are one here. Come and give us a proposal. Don't hide it. I think that So what are you going to do to implement your wonderful idea? Bring it now. Thank you.
The Honorable Member for Shiwangandu.
Most appreciated, Madam Speaker. Your Honor, the Vice President, let me start by commending you for the directives you have given to the Honorable Minister responsible for water. And similarly, maybe you can extend those directives to our Minister of Agriculture to ensure that those farmers, not only in Shiwangandu and Chinsali, but Northern Province and other provinces who have received reduced numbers of packs can be addressed, because this has posed a very big challenge, Madam Speaker, as we speak. So I think you can take the similar line, because that's where we are going to, we have got solutions to deal with the food security. Your Honor, indeed this disaster has affected so many progressive things, including your famous Nalumangonomics, which people were looking forward to see by now, 3 years down the line, increasing of prices in order to reduce. It doesn't seem to be working. I heard you mention that among the measures you are taking is to import about 150,000 metric tons of maize. Your Honor, the matter of concern is who is coordinating this importation of grain to ensure that we don't get grain which is affected by aflatoxin, which we saw recently, and we saw some invoices flying around of some GMO maize being imported by one of the government agencies. Who is coordinating to ensure that the grain we are receiving, either through donations like the 1,000 you received, 1,000 metric, is maize that is authentic to consume? I thank you.
Her Honor, the Vice President.
Madam, I hope that's the last question. If they still see green.
Yeah. You've only got 8 minutes more, Madam. 8 more minutes.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and I would like to thank the Honourable Member for Shiwangandu. I will just start with his preamble where he says, the people of Shiwangandu. People of Shiwangandu were affected. They are on the list. They were affected by floods. We are aware. Chinsali, I'm not aware. But I think the issue of floods of fertilizer is a concern. We'll do that later, not today. Just to correct your figures, Honourable Member, it is 650,000 metric tons that we are importing from Tanzania, not 1,000, 650,000. Authentic, tested, non-GMO, white maize. Anybody interested can go to the depots, because we know where we are getting this maize from. You go. Where we have questions, we have said here, and there is no situation of aflatoxin. On aflatoxin, colleagues, I think we need a comprehensive statement, because I think there is a lot of misunderstanding. People even claimed that government had imported. This social media, we should be careful with it, because this information seems to be playing. When it is juicy, then all of us read, and we say it's happening. It is not happening, Madam. I think the aflatoxin needs to be explained, and the Minister of Commerce will be here, hopefully next week, and give a full statement. Because if I start giving, I'll give, we have not imported any GMO maize. GMO maize, we have not imported. And we are not importing any maize which has issues particularly to do with the genetic diseases. We are not. This is authentic, tested by Zambians who had to go more than once, Honorable Minister, to test more than once, and working together with the people from Tanzania. So this is what we have, and we think it's enough for all of us to survive, at least up to the harvest time. Thank you, Madam.
Thank you. As the time is 10:40 hours, I suspend business for 20 minutes for healthy break.
Well, thank you so much for still being with us on Parliament Television. Business has been suspended for 20 minutes, and at the time business was interrupted for the suspension. The House was considering the ministerial statement, and this ministerial statement was rendered by the Vice President on measures the government has taken in response to the 2024 drought situation. And Her Honor the Vice President has just concluded responding to a follow-up question that came from Shwangandu Member of Parliament, Mr. Stephen Kampyongo. So when business resumes, the House will continue considering this ministerial statement.
Yes, President, and when business resumed at 09 hours, Madam First Deputy Speaker did make two announcements. In the first announcement, Madam First Deputy Speaker recognized the presence in the public gallery of pupils and teachers from Royal Christian School in Lusaka District. And so Madam First Deputy Speaker, on behalf of the National Assembly of Zambia, warmly welcomed the visitors to the National Assembly.
The other announcement that Madam First Deputy Speaker made to the House was to inform the House that Vision Care Eye Hospital has been granted permission to conduct a free comprehensive eye screening exercise for members of Parliament and staff. The exercise aims at promoting eye health care through early detection and treatment of common eye ailments. The exercise will be conducted from Monday 23rd to Friday 27th September 2024 as follows. Matimba.
Yes, and so far that's business that has been considered on the floor of the House, and still to come on the order paper. We have two questions for oral answer under Standing Order 80, and we also have resumption of debate on the motion of thanks, the President's address, a motion of 17th September 2024.
For now, we'll take a short break. On the other side, we'll let you in on what is expected to be considered on the floor of the House, and also share some of the details that came from the ministerial statement that was rendered by Her Honor the Vice President. And to all of you that are following us on our social media platform, that's the YouTube platform, and indeed not forgetting our Facebook platform, that's the National Assembly of Zambia. Thank you so much. Stay with us as we continue bringing Parliament closer to you. On the other side, we'll be with you. Keep watching the channel.
You don't need to suffer from load shedding anymore. Livoltech is here to save the day. Imagine this. You're in the middle of an important task and boom, power cut. Frustrating, right? Well, not anymore. Introducing Livoltech, your go-to for advanced energy storage solutions. With Livoltech, you can store electricity and use it whenever you need it. Homes, schools, businesses, Livoltech powers them all. Our commitment to quality is unmatched, backed by a 10-year warranty. Picture this: happy families, productive businesses, and uninterrupted power supply. That's the Livoltech promise. So, why worry about power cuts? Choose Livoltech and embrace a future of energy independence. Contact us today to learn more. Livoltech, your trusted solar experts.
I'm a villager from Sechek. My name's Romeo Lileko Kangombe. Of course, I'm a married man with so many children. 4 girls, 1 boy, Kangombe Jr. I'm married to Mainga Nkoani, Tumbuka by tribe.
I represent the good people of Sesheke. Sesheke is the biggest constituency in Zambia. It's standing on the area of 27,272 square kilometers. It's got 10 wards, Katindi, Mulimambango, Maondo, Katima, Kalovolelwa, Lusu, Luampungu, Imusho, and Nangombe. Sesheke is at the border of Zambia, Namibia, as well as Angola. It's just right on the banks of Zambezi River. It's of course neighboring with Sioma, Shangombo, Mwanji, and Mulobezi, partly Luampa. Before I joined politics, I've been in the corporate world. I'm a businessman by profession as well as a farmer, if you can say that's a